Hey, people, this is just a summary of a few things that I want to discuss real quickly. Because today I actually have a show that I'm going to be doing with Damian Tripes, and I'm actually Trite. I'm sorry, and I'm looking forward to it. And also, I'm going to have a co-host, and you guys know Thin Gray Line will be my co-host. But listen, I want to talk about a couple things, and this is a video. This isn't going to be a live show. I'm just going to put this out. First, I'm going to talk about Anthony Raimondi. I I looked at his book. I want to review his book, and I think it's very important for me to review. I think he deserves a review of his book. There's no doubt that he definitely deserves a review. And what I found about his book that was really incredible, it's one of the best fiction books that I've ever read. It is incredible. The stories are so unbelievable that they're fake. I mean, every story in that book is fake. I think that the only thing accurate with that book would be his name, if that's even his name. But he has to get rid of the middle name because the middle name makes no sense. He's going around saying it's a true book and that it's everything. And people don't want to hear, they don't want to hear the facts, a bullet to the bone. It's more like a bullet to the brain. And I'm going to shoot something down right off the bat. I came across this article, and one of his great claims is that he personally did a murder when he was 17 years old, and he shot the guy in the head 13 times. First of all, I'd like to know what gun he had back in those days that had 13 shots in it. I know that they had those pistols like that, but I don't know many gangsters that carried those kind of weapons. But basically, we're going to talk about Salvatore Sally Burns Granello. And this is from the New York Times. This is a New York Times article, and it's from October 7th, 1970. This is the gentleman that you said you killed. Now, this article, anybody can find this article. I have this article. If anybody wants it, just let me know. But here's pretty much what the article says. Salvatore Sally Barnes Granello, reputed a mafia figure, was found in the trunk of his automobile, shot to death on the Lower East Side, the police reported last night. Now, also in the book, you said this guy was 29 years old and you shot him 13 times. That's very important to remember. Granello's body with 4 .22 caliber bullet wounds in the head. And you're claiming that you had 13 shots come out of a 22 caliber gun. Had been found on Monday, but not possibly identified until yesterday, the police said. The 47-year-old Granello, 47, not 29, 47, had been dead from 5 to 10 days. The car he was found was parked on the Lower East Side, identified at various times as a closely associate of top mafia figures, Vito Genovese and Tommy Lucchese. And Granello was reportedly involved in gambling operations in pre-Castro Cuba, and allegedly was a participant in various racketing schemes in the United States. And he was just convicted of tax evasion. But what you got to remember, though, is first of all, you said this guy is 29. Now, a 29-year-old and a 47-year-old, that's a 20-year difference. You should be able to notice this. So this pretty much shoots that killing down. And this killing was the pretense to your books that started it off, that sent you to Atlanta, and then they came to get you. Ron Kuby came to get you and pull you out, and they put you in a military guy. And one day you learned how to become a special force man, special forces. And having children in the military, I can tell you one thing right now. I know people that are pissed at you for stolen valor. You used lies in this book. You made money off stolen valor. There's no doubt about that. And anybody that associates with you or puts you on their show, like Vlad TV, or my buddy there from the debate, They should know this stuff. It's not easy to find the crap on you. There's so much out there. And it's sad. It's sad that anybody would believe you because your stories are so unbelievable. And then you talk about how this fairy tale book you put about how you went down and you got one of the most popular mafia figures ever to come up to New York and help plan the Lathanza robbery. I'm sorry, Lathanza. I fucked that up. Well, anyway, you said that you brought him up here and that you planned a robbery, which is total bullshit. Meyer Lansky was an older man at that time. You're talking about a couple of years before his death. You brought him up here, and he helped you plan the robbery. That makes no sense, my man. That's way off. Lathanza. Okay. I'm sorry about that, but you guys know how I am with words, and I'll get heck for that, but I try. Okay. So that's another BS part of your book. Everything in your book is BS. Dude, it's obvious that you were some part, and you associated with these guys. There's no doubt about that. But you're like John A. Light. You're making yourself something into you're not with what you're not. And then you're saying that you're doing this because you had cancer, and this was a couple of years ago, and you wanted to get this out. You look pretty healthy to me right now, my man. So what is the story about this? The fact that, and if anybody goes to your Facebook page and watches all your videos, and he has like 30, 40 videos on this. So people really go check out his videos. Each video, they don't coincide all the time. People should actually watch those videos just to see how much you're full of crap. And, I was hoping to find something that could say, maybe this was true. But, once you lied about that man that you shot 13 times, your whole book fell apart because that was the start of your book. That was from where it was originated from. And you used that killing to forward you through your life that you're claiming. And then to say your father shot Jimmy fucking Hoffa. There must be about 100 fucking people that shot Jimmy Hoffa between all the lying gangsters. And you're just another one. Another lying gangster talking about Jimmy Hoffa. Okay. So pretty much Anthony Raimondi, it's full of shit. Your book is full of shit. You're full of shit. That is my review of your book. It's not even worth calling a book. It's an art of fiction. But the fiction is phenomenal. To come up with that stuff, there has to be, it's like a Stephen King. Something has to be twisted in your mind to come up with this kind of stuff in a book. I got to give you credit for that. So if you're going to decide to write a part 2 of this, just don't list it as nonfiction. Just list it as fiction. Like if it's on Barnes & Noble, ask them to put it in the fairy tale department. Okay, second, I'd like to talk about a man that seems to be getting a lot. His name is Pennisi, right? And he is now attacking mob rats. And people know that I'm not really too keen on mob rats. We've had our battles. But one thing I could say, he's consistent. He's very consistent. He's more consistent than me. There's no doubt about it. And I consider this thing with Pennisi like this. He was not an old-time gangster. He acts like he was a whole-time gangster. This guy was made in like 2014. And he folded like a chair when it came to testifying and going to jail and doing his time. And he claims he did sometimes. And then on top of that, he said that he decided to rat because his house started shaking. These gangsters, man, they got some kind of wild imaginations. His house started shaking, and he was told from God or his grandfather, one or the other, that he needed to become a rat. So he became a rat. And you took down a legend like Matty Madonna and put him in jail for life. These guys went to jail. Stephen Cray, Matthew Madonna, Christopher Londonio, I believe it was, for killing this Meldish guy, a notorious drug dealer. They killed a notorious drug dealer, and now they're sitting in jail for the rest of their life. But here's the thing, dude. You may have messed up by doing these podcasts because you're contradicting yourself. So what they're doing right now is they're filing an appeal against your podcast because basically you're not consistent. And then you go after mob rats. Listen, mob rats and I have our differences, but here's the difference, dude. We live on one side of the tracks. You live on the other side of the tracks. On our side of the tracks, you got me, you got MRE, you got Bolt Sicilian. We started with nothing but a computer in front of us, and we got in front of the computer and we did it. We did our channels. We earned it. You rats, you get out of jail, and then you have people like, they still consider you gangsters. Even though you're not gangsters, you're rats. You're bottom of the earth scumbags. And then what you do is you have people sponsor you, get you into these studios and stuff where you can make nice professional shows. And then you start attacking smaller channels like MRE, which is a big mistake. I had my issues with him for a month, and it was not fun. And I seen his show last night. He's really pissed at you, dude. Oh, you made a mistake. You should have just kept your damn mouth shut, going on there, spewing that crap. The difference between you and I is that I would never do it, but you're the scumbag that will do it because you're the scumbag that put these innocent. Let me rephrase that. These men that murdered this drug dealer in jail for the rest of their lives. You just took them away from their families and everything. And then you go on there, and how do you think these guys feel knowing that they're sitting in jail and they see your scumbag ratting ass there on a show on your channel, just talking away while they're in prison for the rest of their life? There's nothing sensational about you. You're no better than Sammy Gravano. You're no better than John A. You're just no better than any of them. I've had my issues here, but one thing that I promised myself from now on, a rat's a rat. And you guys are rats. I had the privilege of dealing personally with John A. Light. And I remember when I was talking to him, how dirty I felt when I hung up the phone, or his sleazy brother. So here you guys go. You're on the wrong side of the track, and you better get the fuck out of the wrong side. You better jump back on your side, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to go after MRE. Then I'm going to defend MRE and go after you. Then Bull Sicilian's going to be on your ass. And then you're going to learn that these little stations stations, make fun of me, stations, okay, channels. These little channels, when we get together and we come at you guys, we're going to feel like mammoths. John A. Light made that mistake, and look at him. Look what's happened to him. How's your patron page doing? Ask John A. Light what happened to his. He's down in the 90s, and he was way up there in the hundreds, a few hundred. You're easy to pound, dude. You are a modern day hoodlum that got made. You are not an old timer. Stop acting like it. And you turned on some old timers and put them away for life. And like I said, nobody knows what they're going to do when they're sitting there and they're looking at life. But when you get out and you jump behind the mic and you start talking about, like, you're still a gangster, you're not a gangster, dude. You're a fucking rat. And then you know what the first thing is that you do when someone goes after you? You go to your handlers and you start crying. You're going to have the FBI look at MRE. Dude, be a fucking man. Do it yourself. The FBI, this just doesn't make fucking sense. Rats talking about getting the FBI to go after somebody. Fucking weird, man. But I'm glad you came along. I knew nothing about you. To me, you were nothing. I'm not a mafia expert, as Jeff Carnarsie would say, and I'm definitely not. But I could pick up a newspaper and read about your scumbag exploits. And now you're sitting here, you're getting your views, you're putting some money in your pocket off of a bunch of morons that like rats. Oh, they're real gangsters. There's nothing real about you, dude. You're not a gangster. You lost your gangster badge a long time ago. You replaced your gangster badge with a rat badge. You are now a rat. That's all you are. So my advice for you would be leave MRE alone. Don't come on this side of the tracks because you will regret it. Because the difference between you and us is we're not rats. Tiny little channels we are because we went out and we earned it. We weren't handed nothing. Every subscriber that we have, every view we get, we earn. We don't have these professional studios you guys have. And it was disgusting when I watched that thing with MRE and you guys were sitting there talking about, we know who he is. I tried the same thing and it fucking backfired on me. But the difference is I would never, ever tell anybody who that man is. Or woman, who the fuck knows? So go back to your little studio. Stay on your side of the tracks. That's called the rat side of the tracks. Not the right side of the tracks, the rat side of the tracks. You're there with Johnny A. Light. You're there with Sammy Gavano. You're there with Mikey. You're there with Jimmy. You guys are all a bunch of fucking rats. You belong on that side of the track. So, that's just my opinion. And we'll see what happens. If you have any balls, come debate me. I'll come to your show. I'll debate you. But you don't have those balls. You don't have those balls. It's obvious your balls got cut off by the feds. They cut them right off. You're a eunuch now. That's what you are. Okay, so I'm hoping that when Stephen Cray and Matthew Madonna and Christopher Londonio, I'm hoping that you have some kind of guilt what you did to these men. You're spending time with your families now. And listen, I'm not praising these men. They played the game. But the problem is that these men used to be taken down by bullets and trunks and with honor. Now they're taken down by little weasels. Ballless weasels that talk to ghosts now. You talk to ghosts. Do you and John A. Light have get-togethers or something? Talks to fucking ghost. We go from this one clown here, Anthony Raimondi, we go from, and then we go to you, and you can't make this shit up. It gets funnier and funnier, but then it becomes very sad. And then when you guys go on the defensive and someone attacks you for what you are, a fucking rat, you threaten to do more ratting. That's all you're doing is threatening to do more ratting. Play around, dude. He'll talk about you every day. I'll talk about you every day. I don't know what Bald Sicilian would do, but I'm sure that, you know, we all need, we put out shows here for people or videos or whatever. And we need material. So you'll be the new material. All we got to do is watch your ridiculous show to understand. And I hate the way you guys talk about gangster shit. You're not gangsters. Your gangster cards are gone. Burn them. You got rat cards now. They have big pictures of rats on them. You got a rat badge. And you still got handlers, dude. So I'm sure you run to your handlers like a little bitch. Oh, someone's bothering me. Can you check into them? And, you know, if you see this video, you'll probably do the same thing. You run to your handler. I've been through shit over on this side. So you can run to your handler and tell them whatever the fuck you want. The fact of the matter is you're a rat and you're handled like a little bitch and you do what they tell you and you're still a rat and they own you for the rest of your life. That's who you are. That describes you. That's it. There's no other way to describe you. John Pennisi, the gangster. No gangster. No hitman. You kill people, and then you rat on other people that kill people. Fucking unbelievable, man. You know what the FBI does? They say, so let's look for who the weakest dude is here. Who's the one that's going to rat? Who's the easiest one to make rat? There he is. I'll make him rat. Okay, well, that's it. I'm done with that fucking rat. You know what? At least Anthony Raimondi wasn't a rat. No, he's just fucking insane. You're insane and you're a rat. So Anthony Raimondi has 2 balls. You have none. Okay. Also, I like to get to Jeff Carnarsie. Jeff Carnarsie and I, we've had our issues. There's no doubt. Matter of fact, I had a video done here and it was taken down by YouTube, and it was about Jeff Carnarsie. It wasn't really that hard because we talked right before it. But Jeff Carnarsie wrote an article yesterday for Mob Talk Radio called "Which New Mob Genre Shows on YouTube Are Worth Engaging In." And I was absolutely shocked because I thought that he would use our personal beef before anything. And I didn't realize that he's been listening to me because I do give him credit and I give Casperosa credit because they were originally in here before we came along and they deserve their credit. But what I like to say is, you know, he wrote Lee Cole isn't or shouldn't be new to any of you. And he talks about my issues with the wrestling. His review was very honest. He said that I'm not an expert when it comes to mafia genre, and it's the truth. I'm not, but I'm learning. And don't get me wrong, I've been around gangsters. But I didn't sit down and study all their names like John A. Light. You know. And I was just shocked by his review, and I appreciate his review, because he has a lot of power in this industry or in this genre. He's very well respected. And, you know, it just goes to show you that you can't determine people. You know, and as we do these channels, we have to be willing to grow. You know, I'm an older guy. I get mad easy. Old people think they know it all. That's just the way we are. And sometimes we don't want to hear anything. We want to attack first. And over the last few days, I've been shaking. I've been wanting to attack a couple people, but I've held back. And I'm going to try to do that unless I'm really feeling the heat where the attacks aren't just. So, I just say like to tell Jeff, I appreciate the honest review of the show. And unfortunately, it's a funny thing is Mob Rat and I are right on that in that article, which is kind of ironic. I mean, he would probably even think it is. Okay, well, that's all I want to say today. That's just covering those 3 subjects. I'm sorry I stuttered there a few times and kind of got lost when announcing things or pronouncing things, but you guys know me by now. That's what you make fun of. Okay, well, everybody take care. Please sub to the station. I don't ask that enough. And leave your remarks and tell me what you think, and we'll take it from there. Take care.